adjourn the executive session and reconvene the special meeting.
I love her.
So at this time, it's not our custom, but it is perfectly legal for us to take action based in a special meeting, not just at one of our board business meetings. So at this time, I believe it'd be appropriate to have a motion in terms of a salary parameter. Would anyone like to make a motion?
Motion to move that we vote on a salary parameter for the superintendent search.
Would you like to put forward a salary range?
$265.
So I'm going to note that as the
Range.
salary range of $265,000. Do we have a second?
Second.
By Sandy. Any discussion? So this will be, so the language would be on our brochure for the position. The salary will be in the range of $265,000. The final salary for a successful candidate will be negotiated and determined by the board. This is the range for us to post the position with. Okay. Any other discussion?
Sounds great.
All right. So let's call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. So that passed 5-0. Thank you, everyone. So next on the agenda, officially, we have 10 minutes, and we can just start this discussion. We are pressed for time, but luckily we have a little bit more time to talk about finalist interviews. It's just, again, to take advantage of this opportunity, since both of you are here, to talk about options. So this is the finalist option sheet that Ryan sent us. So these are 3 different formats that have been done in the past in terms of, these are our final 2-3 candidates. And the dates that we're talking about, June 15th and 16th. This is the first date set in stage 5. So that's what we're talking about. So what, to start, if we can come to an agreement in 10 minutes, that would be wonderful.
I won't be able to come back and meet on this because I blocked it today.
Okay, so
unless we do it at a time we've already set.
well, and because my backup is on the 28th, we're going to be getting together to review the brochure that we'll post, and that would be our backup time to finish conversation.
I mean, I just can't.
Yeah, no, we're not going to schedule a second meeting on this, but we would just pick it up on the 28th if we need to. So we have the 3 options. Did everyone have a chance to take a peek at these?
Yes.
Any questions in terms of the options here? We can.
I tried to write it up in about 10 minutes.
It was perfect. This is perfect.
But hopefully it gives you some options to think
Yes.
about.
That's great.
Yeah, it's very compelling.
So I'll start off, I
Thank
like
you,
option 1. I think at this point, having the most input from the community is really something that will help support great decision making by the board. So I like the idea of opening it up and having people meet the candidate. I appreciate that it's a long day. I have talked to one of your candidates I mentioned before that went through that day and said it was arduous. But I do think that it's helpful for the board and the community to go through that process, even though it is a rough day.
I have a question about option 1.
Sure.
It seemed to be, one of the cons is the long day, the road show, bringing everyone around. Is it possible to frame the day in a way where you don't have such a tour of the community, perhaps, focusing on the community forum and with a smaller meet and greet system? I mean, is there some flexibility in
Yeah,
there?
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You can do it however you want. So,
Some boards like to see a full day of lots of stuff, interaction with community members and staff members and principals and so forth, and want to see how they're standing by 6 o'clock.
right.
Do they have the energy? Can they make a complete sense of themselves, in light of the energy that's just an absolute exhausting? Because that's the world of the superintendent. They're going to have many days like that.
But I wouldn't choose option 1 because for that reason.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we can tailor it to however you want to do it. You also have to, in option 1, we could do the, however you want to do it, and then at the end of the day, say at like 6 o'clock, you have that interview with that candidate. And then the same thing for the next day. So the interview is usually at the end of the day for option 1.
The board interview.
The board interview, one-on-one with that candidate.
So say that, because again, we have this challenging timeline, if we wanted to, we had talked about interviewing the finalists on the 15th, and then quickly turn, because again, the finalists want to know, right? So we don't want to leave them hanging for 4 days.
Correct.
So quickly turn it around. Oh, I forgot to call Leanna. Dang it.
Are we all okay with option one then?
Well, I just wanted to clarify a couple
Sure.
things in it. In Edmonds, one thing I liked is that they did their, obviously those semifinalists, which I think that we agreed that we weren't going to do that, but the finalist interviews with the community president. And they actually live streamed it. So anyone could watch it. And I just think that is what our community expects, is that level of transparency. And so I didn't see that type of information on here. So when you say one-on-one, I'm not thinking that they're just gonna interview with the board. I'm thinking this is a public meeting.
That's up to you
Yeah.
all. I can tell you that the candidates would prefer that it just be with you all. And Tony can give you,
Yeah,
from his experience.
I would think that the interview with the board not be streamed, but the interviews, or the public pitch, presentation, answering questions, be streamed. I like that a lot.
I agree with Tony. I mean, you're being so transparent already that you guys can have an interview just with a one-on-one.
Yeah, I'm having been through lots of these for like deans and presidents and provosts of universities, I would think that there's the public, here's my best pitch, my best face, and then the Q&A. I think that I would like that live streamed. I think our interview with them, I personally don't need.
Oh, question and answer with the public.
Yeah, that's live streamed.
Yeah.
But then there's a separate interview just with the board and the candidate, and that's a closed session. Yeah, I think that would be, because there's things we need to be able to ask them.
Yeah.
And interact with them, and there are these things they need to ask us based upon their day. So I like option one as well.
Yeah, and I'm agreeing with Ken. I think we become a group of 6 with the superintendent, and knowing that we can interact and work well together, the camera does change that behavior, and I think that would be healthy for us to have those opportunities.
Both experiences.
Yeah.
How do we schedule for the second or third finalist on that tour day and the interview day? Are we doing that all on the same day?
I think that you probably want to guide yourself to thinking you may just have 2 finalists.
I mean, so would that be 1 or 2 days?
Usually it's, you could do it one day, if you have 2. If you have 3, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult. But 2, while one person's like a Leanna, or somebody could take candidate A around, candidate B could be, doing something else. But yeah, I think if you were to do like the open forum and then ask questions and have us facilitate that, it's important that you have candidate A go in and do it, and then candidate B, not at the same time. Because then it becomes like a presidential debate almost.
Yeah.
So we don't want that. But yeah, you can absolutely do 2 in one day.
Thank you.
And we can help facilitate that.
Of course.
I guess that if we have 3 excellent candidates and we really want to see all 3 of them in this role, see all 3 of them walking through this process, then I hope we're not just landing on 2.
You can do 3 in one day. It's been done.
Yeah, and
but-
you just have different,
Well-
they're moving at different.
And we've seen both Snohomish and Edmonds start with 3 finalists, and then someone drops out, move to 2,
Yeah.
so.
I always caution, I always caution,
My
be
comment
careful
on
going
3
to 2.
is as a preference. It's logistically, it's easier to manage, and it really helps the decision-making as you narrow down to the very end. I'm not saying, it has to be 2. I'm just saying, it's 2 for a variety of reasons, because it really positions the board to make the final call.
I guess back to her point is that, Amy said that in these 2, they've had 3 and one's dropped out. So that buffers us from someone, you have 3, and then if someone drops out, we still have 2. If someone drops out, if we go to 2 and someone drops out, we have 1. And then we gotta go back probably and ask somebody.
Which is not a good conversation.
Yeah, so I'd rather start.
Hopefully the one standing is the one who's in the top position.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think going a little bit, I don't want to get too into the weeds in this conversation because we're not there yet, but I just want to leave everyone's mind open that I think And obviously, when we come down to that decision, we might go, nope, we really only want those two. But
Yeah.
one of our options.
So that move us towards, do we need to take action, or is that just more like feedback?
Kind of frames our.
Yeah.
All right.
It just
Did
lets us
everyone-
know.
Yeah,
Did you chime in
Yeah,
on whether you might even?
actually, I agree with everyone.
Okay.
This works-
No,
this
so I
works
think
perfect.
Kimberly's comment about live streaming in the first scenario, and that could be added, but it can be built upon over the next several days and weeks, you know.
Well-
Yeah, so I just, I was trying to find Leanna, I didn't speak up, but, I don't see a reason to make the day overly arduous for the candidates, but I think definitely having the opportunity for community members to interact, and then having the time for us to be able to get feedback from them, and then, so how we fit that into the 15th, 16th from a logistical. Hey, Leanna.
Is it on?
Yeah, I was trying to text you and find you.
We don't get reception in Bolton.
Oh, yay. Okay. Okay, so if you want, so Leanna, we want to catch you up,
Yeah,
so.
come up to the table.
And there are districts that have just done the form, and then right into the interview.
Right.
So,
The other, and then I guess the only other piece that I have on this, because the option two has this, the small group of representatives that can meet. One thought is, and I think, my sense is our calendar allows it, but I'm not sure if we would want to do this, is to have them participate at some level in the winnowing process from our 8 to 12 down to 3. And whether that's just seeing the video interviews or some of the other things that we were doing.
The community.
Yeah, well, community representatives.
Oh, community.
So we have a process where we're not planning to do, community shared 6 names or something like that, but we're gonna have 8 to 12, and then there's a process through which we're gonna winnow that down to 3-ish. And then one of the questions is from seeing this is whether or not we might want to bring in additional, representation in that process, even in an advisory capacity. And so I think that's allowed in our calendar process. I just don't know if we have an opinion.
My only caution there is
Sure.
confidentiality
Right.
issues. Once you move
Yeah.
from 6, if the public is participating in narrowing down the 6 to 3 or to 2,
Yeah.
The word gets out.
it's gone.
Okay. And I remember we talked through that, and I'm comfortable with the calendar that we have. So when I saw these, it was just like, yeah. So I think keeping what we have already done, just trying to reconfirm our decision,
right.
and then have kind of a full day, feedback from the community. And then we built in our calendar just to remind ourselves that those interviews happen on 15th and or 16th, and that we have a night to sleep on it, and we're making our decision on that pool or those interviews on 17th.
Yeah.
I need to sleep on it.
Yeah, I think there's a host of reasons
Ken,
why
I don't
we
mean
want
to
to.
dismiss your suggestion, I think it's an excellent suggestion.
Right.
But
But we already talked it
in a
through.
perfect
Yeah.
world, the confidentiality would be breached, and,
Right.
and
Exactly, no, I'm fine with that, I'm fine, I just wanted to double
it's
check
a
on,
solid suggestion, though.
but yeah, thanks.
And so the calendar, the June 6th or 7th or 8th, is that the day for this final candidates
That's what I
go
was trying
to
to
the
clarify.
community, have the interview with the board that evening? Is that day?
no, that is on the 15th and 16th.
15th and 16th.
Yeah, so there is, I think this is what David's referring to.
Yeah, so
So
on the
the-
3rd, we're gonna come back and present the candidates to you.
Right.
Say we present 12 to you, you will cut it down to 6 on the 3rd. Then you will bring in those 6 on the 7th and 8th for a
Okay.
face-to-face.
And then we meet with you all in order to winnow it down to 3.
Correct.
About 3-ish, yeah.
So we'll do 2 matrices, essentially.
Awesome.
One on the 3rd, one on the 8th, and the easiest matrix of all, if there is 2.
So just so that I'm 100% clear on that, and then so the 3rd is 8 to 12, and that's what sometimes called the paper cut stage.
Yep.
Right.
We're gonna choose the 6th that we're then gonna physically interact with on the 7th or 8th.
Yep.
Right.
And so then when you get to that list of 8 to 12, just remind yourself, you're gonna be in communication with them, says, hey, you've made the 8 to, the top
Yep.
10,
Yep.
and then please keep your calendar open for this date, because the board's planning to bring in around 6 for face-to-face.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah, and I'm comfortable with that.
I'm gonna watch the clock
Yeah.
here. So have you gotten enough feedback from us about the 15th, 16th, in terms of how, so Leanna, how we were discussing it, so option one in terms of having candidates interview with different stakeholders and then having a community forum. I think I heard correctly that the board is all in favor of that. Perhaps allowing for flexibility if we're talking about 3 candidates in terms of what interaction during the day would happen, but definitely with an idea that there would be a community forum. And then we would have the opportunity
Hopefully
to,
live stream.
hopefully, yeah, because Edmonds had their community question and answer time live stream so folks at home could watch as well. So we can chat about.
So who provides the live streaming? Does Ray and Associates?
No.
Or is that
We
something?
have to find out.
Okay, so we'll have to research with technology.
So Edmonds did this in theirs. They just did a webcast or something. So my guess is you do it.
So you'll want just the community forum?
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So just mostly for Tony and Brian's benefit, but just to make sure that everyone understands what the 15th and 16th looks like for our staff and our students and our parents. The 14th, kids have graduated, so we will have no seniors in our schools when we're bringing finals. So, and it will be chaotic, and there will be field days going on, and there will be end of school, and it's not going to look like school. Basically, we're going to be bringing finalists.
And school stuff.
Right, to playtime, basically, and kids will be packing up books and turning things in, and so they're not going to get a sense of what education looks like. And there's nothing we can do about it, but I just want to make sure that we're all cognizant of that as we go into this.
But they'll also understand.
And yeah, and that our staff is going to be pretty freaked out because they're trying to get grades done and things wrapped up and then bring.
So that may limit our opportunities to have
To be very
to have
thoughtful
interactions
of how we're planning this and doing this and thinking through it, because it is going to be very chaotic.
Yeah.
So can I ask a couple of questions? I'm hearing interactions. So you're talking about school visits as part of the interview process?
I don't know that.
Okay,
I'm just throwing
because
all this
that's
out there.
different, doing a kind of a tour of the district.
Right.
And then when we were talking about interactions with different stakeholder groups, similar to the focus groups, is that what you're thinking, where you,
Anyone can come.
that's different than the public forum, so.
Oh, yeah, you're
So-
right. Stakeholder groups and public forum.
And public
Yeah.
forum, so are we wanting to do one candidate a day, or are we doing multiple candidates a day possibly?
Multiple candidates.
Thank you, okay.
All in one day.
Yes, I think you're,
And-
yep.
And I think we don't have to decide on the exact format right now because we are pressed for time. We just wanted to choose a direction so we could start investigating options. So
And I guess the
Those would
question
be
of
the key
a
things.
tour, but the notion of a tour, the candidates, if they're in the top 6 lists that are coming out, are, I would think logically gonna maybe drive around and look at the schools.
We want to
and
take
get
them to the new
the-
high school, right?
Right, well, they can get the tours of that, but we also have to protect confidentiality, allow them to do that. in
so
order.
I don't want to rush the
Yeah.
setup of the framework of the 15th and 16th because technically we're 6 minutes late already. So we just wanted to, while we have everyone here, pick a direction, and option one is the direction we're falling in. But it's true, we will have limitations based on people's schedule and availability. So that's something we'll have to take into consideration when we set up the day. And we could perhaps come up with a framework and present it on the 28th and finalize.
What's the last day of school?
The 17th.
So
Friday.
would that work out well?
Yeah, it's fine.
That works out great. You want to leave your statement to Leanna so she knows.
A
Yeah.
a win day is always a possibility.
Leanna, did you have other questions?
No, I can wait until you're done.
Okay. Well, we were just brainstorming a little bit.
I want to make sure, and I think expanding on David's point or just reiterating it, that we involve our community to whatever those boundaries are that's acceptable. And that we just keep that in mind. And community meetings, stakeholder groups, I mean, not just saying parents, I'm saying all of our community and parents.
And I did ring your desk. I couldn't find, I was trying to track you down.
That's okay, I was probably,
You're probably right. You're probably a lady.
I haven't heard. We're getting close to 12:15.
All right, so do we want to adjourn then?
Do we need to vote on this?
No, I think this is still in development, these finalist options, so perhaps we'll come up with a proposal and
Yep.
then run by everyone.
Just FYI, we have something on the 11th, was it the 11th, the 3rd? Oh, the 3rd, if anything goes over, I am not available the 4th because my son is graduating. Not from here, but he's graduating.
So June, okay, yeah, so
So
for
the
those.
4th, so I'm out, just a heads
On the
up if
4th.
we need
No,
to look for
it
another
won't,
day.
it won't go over.
I
Excellent.
yeah, I just want to say that day is completely out for me, so, to you guys.
Okay, so we are adjourned at.
If we have any other issues come up, I'm not available on that or
I'm
the
trying to
12th.
track this, make sure I got this.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Okay, and I'll leave all this for you.
Sure. And I'm gonna update you,
Yeah, is
Leanna.
any of this confidential that we need to be?
I don't think so, this is
It's
my
all
copy
public
though, if I can have
information.
this back.
Right, oh yeah, that was.
And I sent my CV over to you.
Thank you.
So,
It's downstairs.
Yeah, so I
you
have-
a copy.
it's not,
And then
it's
tonight we're
updated,
meeting
it's not
at
updated.
7.
Seven at Candy
we're just-
Park,
No, don't.
and we are just observing, because they are.
Well, I
running
should.
the meeting.
Oh, then you guys are running, okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah.
not building online
Um,
classes, you know, and it's.
And are we
I
sending
mean,
you
there's
them by
stuff that
8:30?
actually I should get on there.
And if we need to step out, that's totally fine.
I have
But I
property
just
duty.
haven't-
We're gonna move it along.
No, it's
And they're-
fine.